Hey there, Sarah here. And this video is a follow-up to one I shared recently on the 3 key things that tend to hold people back from building foundational strength. And those 3 things were lack of consistency, lack of confidence, and lack of clarity. And while those 3 things are super true and really important to building strength, we need confidence, we need a positive mindset to create change that's lasting. We need a roadmap to get there, and we need to be showing up consistently in order to get the results that we're looking for. And in this case, we're talking about building foundational strength. So those 3 things are really important. But the question comes up of, okay, so what are the tangible things that I can do in order to bridge that gap? And that's what this video is about. So we're going to talk about what are the key kind of parts of the whole to building foundational strength, and what are the 3 main building blocks to getting there. And this is based on information that I've gained from working with private clients over the years from various backgrounds. It's also from my own training, what I've learned in my own movement practice, and then from coaches and teachers that I continue to learn from as a student of movement myself. So what are they? So number one, the biggest thing that is like the number one core kind of building block to building the foundational strength, and the pun wasn't intended there, is your core. So it's a word that's tossed around a lot, and without getting into the weeds of kind of what the core is, I'll just say that the core and the complex system of structures that makes up your core is much more than just like your 6-pack, your bikini ready muscles, which are great, but the core is more than that. It's breath related, it's posture related, it's lifestyle related. There's many things that might contribute to our disconnection from the core muscles. And just to name a few, you might have recently had a baby, and after pregnancy you're looking to build those tissues back up again that you've needed for other purposes. You might have suffered from diastasis recti after your pregnancy. So that's another thing where people might start to kind of might disconnect from their core muscles as a result. You might just be out of practice from using those muscles, and just some of those lines of communication are broken. There's many reasons why we might disconnect from our core, but it really is, from my experience in working with a variety of people, myself included, one of the main things that we want to begin with when starting to build that foundational strength. Because if you don't have that at the center, then as you start to build things out from the midline and build things out from your core, if you think we build stuff from the inside out, it's just the sustainability is just not going to be there, because we're not starting from the core. So we start there, and then if you think about building out from there, you start to think about, okay, so our joints. What is the system and the structure that we're looking to build the strength on? So you can almost think of the analogy of a house. You've got a house that you're looking to build. If you don't have a solid foundation, then your house is not going to be able to withstand the various things that are going to be around it, the weather, whatever happens underground. We need to have a stable structure to build from. So that foundation of your strength building comes from your core, and then also comes from your joints. So are your joints stiff? Are they really tight in certain areas? Or maybe they're even not operating as independent joints. Maybe they're really locked down and connected to other tissues, so they're not moving. Maybe they're moving too much, and you almost have so much flexibility and movability in your joints that you lack the stability that you need in order to create that strength. So whether it's one or the other, or somewhere in between, we're looking to create joints that are both movable and have full ranges of motion that we can use, and then also stable and strong, and able to hold us in positions that are powerful, and that are going to serve us long term, so that we can build strength on top of it. So joints, super important. They really serve as they're going to serve as the container or part of the base to how we build that foundation of strength on. So we want to start to build those tissues. And then the third thing is technique. We might have a really strong core. We might be really connected to our joints, and we have beautiful joint mobility and lots of stability in our joints. But if we don't know how to use them, we don't know how to set ourselves up, and we don't know the proper form and technique and mechanics for movement and all of these fundamental key movements for building strength, then we're not going to be able to get there. So, maybe we have really healthy knee, and maybe we have really healthy ankle, and our hips are in a good place. But if we've never learned the mechanics of a proper squat and how to kind of tap into and talk to the tissues and have those lines of communication there, on top of the movement pattern, so this motor control piece is missing, then we're not going to be able to efficiently and skillfully squat. And then the same thing goes for all of the main movements, thinking about your hinge, your deadlift. Are you picking stuff off the ground and suffering from lower back pain because some of your other muscles are taking over? Are you able to efficiently move in these various movements? Are you able to move in these various movements or operate in these various movements in a way that is going to harness the appropriate stuff? So we want to be able to have good techniques so that we can create this strength from these strong, stable foundations. You might have amazing technique in theory. You might know all of the proper ways in theory to do various movements, but if you don't have the core strength and you don't have the joint stability and mobility to work with that skill and that technique, then it's not going to serve you long term. So really, those are the three main building blocks that are going to help us build that foundational strength, that are going to help us go from being disconnected, not feeling super fluid and movable and stable, and not confident in the way that we operate, manipulate objects, hold objects, carry objects. And this comes into just like the day-to-day life as well. It's how we operate in the gym or in our movement space, but it's also our everyday life. How are we picking up our kids? How are we holding our groceries? How are we getting in and out of the car? How are we sitting in our desk? We could go on and on about the reasons why they're super important and paramount to not only building foundational strength, but just also being in a body and being connected to ourselves and the outside world. Maybe there's another video for that, but that really is, in a nutshell, the three building blocks that we need to build strength. So, and those are the three things that tend to come up when I'm working with people and we're starting from that place of okay, where do we begin? These are the layers, and these also serve as sort of the three main pillars of the program that I'm building, which is all about that, which is all about just, bite-sized portions of content, only what you need in order to work on these three things so that you can come out of it confident with your technique, feeling really connected with your core again. If you've disconnected from it from before, or maybe you don't even know what it feels like to be that connected. And then just healthy, resilient joints that are going to serve you long term. Posture is a huge piece that I've noticed that comes out of working on these three things alone, and just how you're holding yourself throughout your day. So I'm not going to get into any of the details of the program other than the fact that those are the three key building blocks, and I'm really passionate about it, and I love working with people in a way to help them find these connections again and establish this sense of autonomy again in your own body. It's just such a wonderful process, and so yeah, I could go on and on about it, but I'm gonna leave it there. If that interests you at all, if you feel any of those things at all, if you feel disconnected from your core, if you feel like your joints are either locked down or unstable or stiff, if you feel unable to build strength as a result of a lack of those things, or perhaps you're just not confident in your technique and how you move through various movements that you might know of in order to build strength, you just don't know how to do it. You're not quite sure about where to hold yourself and how to connect those dots. This is one of the things I love to do. So comment below if, or get in touch with me, connect with me if this is something that you're interested in doing and pursuing and working with me on. Because I would love to work with you on those things if that's something that is speaking to you and resonating. And yeah, so I'm gonna end it here. I look forward to connecting with you in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. And if it is this program that you're interested in, the Strong Foundations program, let's talk. I hope you have a beautiful day.